that I'm reading. I was going to be really extra and have a bunch of stuff with me, but the universe was like, just read your words, you idiot. So that's what I'm going to do. This piece is called Capitalism is a Mental Illness, and I Should Know. The doomsday clock ticks on persistently. On the outside of the moment, looking, slipping. Everyone has a hyper reaction now. How do you sound the alarm to trigger some sort of reflection if our attention can no longer sustain really much of anything? I wake up filled with dread. My chest tightens. I move myself in the fetal position. Knees on chest, breathing, gently breathing. So here we are, Shanekia, another fucking go-around. Slowly trying to shake off the terrors from the night, soothing myself, staying in the moment. Since that day, I looked in the mirror until I was seeing past myself, past my reflection in being. I was finally seeing outside of myself. Yes, I am real. I have a consciousness. I dictate my actions, being acutely aware of every moment, feeling foreign inside of your body and life. Bit by bit, the bit by bits, I have to remind myself. Sometimes I leave for a split second, sometimes longer, visiting some untapped space, breaking the illusions of my mind. I return always with fear and panic. Fuck, I'm gonna die. What a peculiar thing to be content with oppression. That sweet smell of baby powder never fails to bring me back to the women of the congregation, graceful but judgmental, so content with staying in the background, continuing the long-held tradition of shunning and shaming young women for patriarchal tradition of the Black church. Under the veil protection, she needs special attention, they would plead with her. She can't leave. I wanted that to be true, to be appreciated by these powerful women who hide themselves intentionally. God, my first real lessons in rebellion. I once fascinated in the air that they carried themselves, but disgusted with their hypocrisy. I was a rebel rouser. I never really fit in. From his point of view, he walks slowly, a hazy image of snow and steps in his heavy breathing. I can almost feel his heart racing. Finally, his target is clear. A cameraman, a reporter, an interviewee. Live television. He raises his gun and without hesitation fires on the unsuspecting. He would later live tweet his chase with the police. Merely as an observer, I saw in real time websites pick up his reporting, all desperate for inside information. The hot take. We were all enthralled by the spectacle. I know him, I thought. Those dead eyes and blonde mop, his fitted jeans perfectly tucked in his combat boots. It's unfair, he whines, unfair. What does it mean to be in a culture war? How does one determine a winner? How do you identify? It's time to face the truth that the materialistic means in which the countercultural left have leaned on to identify themselves have been co-opted for insidious purposes. Maybe it's time to rip it up and start again. Nothing is sacred anymore. I've begun to wonder how many times I may have inadvertently interacted with a neo-Nazi. They have begun to show themselves to me now. I wonder why me. It seems to give them a rush, the coded language now decipherable. I just like to harass you, he says, his eyes spinning, goading me, showing me what lies beneath, just below the surface for only a moment. How do I respond? Too often with reason, but there is no middle ground, there is no reason. I keep up the niceties of civilized society I've been taught, to debate and face with reason. He's gaslighting me now, talking in circles to try and confuse me. If I'm angry, then I lose. If I remain calm and try to talk, I lose. If I walk away, I lose. I pick up on his words, his vague threats. Why me? I know why. I'm an antidote to share on Reddit or whatever thread he congregates on. I can see it now. It'll start off, this dumb black liberal bitch. How many times have I had a conversation with a white nationalist and not realized? Before, when their language was foreign to me, have they always been dropping hints and threats? We will always lose. How do we win? How do you beat them when they walk freely amongst us? There is no theory, no textbook or history lesson to help us here, no roaring soundtrack or inspiring leader. That is a difference I truly believe. We didn't really need one, and today I have to deal with the fact that I need one, because I am not one, nor do I want to be one. The question he passed on still haunts my subconscious. Will you die for this? It's not about one person, one group. It never has been or will be. Should I say peace to you overall and just look out for me and mine? Y'all not seeming to get it. Today, all the white people were so nice. Shopping, 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 without a care in the world. Today, not only must I manage my own panic, but somehow help people with theirs. If I'm here to just to listen and reassure, then where the fuck is my reassurance? Today I feel nothing but a pity trophy. Today I feel a responsibility that I neither desired or aspired to. In the midst of another rousing political discussion, I openly fantasize about the sensation of smashing my head on a wooden door over and over and over again, till I'm covered in blood and concussed. It's hard to apply logic or reason to the times. It's hard to point out the fallacies of a day spent shopping and eating and shopping and eating. It's funny how commerce is how people deal with the dark times, the way they snap and resort to fear tactics when I don't agree. Great, it's time for a nice round of liberal gaslighting. Thank you for reminding me of how my race and gender means that I might be first on the wall. It's a fact that didn't cross my mind. Although, depending on the conversation, my race might be excluded or gender. What an effective weapon, a powerful sword that must be to yield. The ability to imbue someone with complete and utter terror of their surroundings, to be able to remove any sense of security with just a few words. Regardless of gender, sexuality, or class, I must say it's a special privilege all white people share, the ability to menace with the weight of history behind their words. I see you wanting me to be subservient to your ideals. I'm always intrigued by this tactic. Is it a taught or a learned behavior? Do they feel any sense of shame afterward? No, probably never thought about it too much. They're talking about being my ally, but then decide it's time to gaslight me. I feel the anger rising. Damn, bitch, don't kill my vibe. Great, now they don't think I care. Great, now I'm the ignorant one. Great, now I'm the one that has to feel guilty. Sometimes it's best to stay mad as a productive armor. It's getting easier to feel stuck in a loop, trying to make right what can't be. Watching her slowly decay has to be the most unsettling thing I've ever witnessed. Would you die for this? Nothing ever seems real enough. What is the real? The worlds are starting to merge. I'm visiting more often than I used to, becoming sloppier about it. Sometimes I hear them again just in the background, my old friends. There is a sensation when you snap your straws. It's as if you can feel your brain splinter. I can somehow visualize it, the blue ball of electricity. Time is an illusion. To lose track of time, to no longer participate in this social construct. I pace around my room in a perfect circle. I then walk through my hallway, turn at the kitchen, then head through the living room, and then back to the hallway, and finally in my room. My perfect loop. It's 8, I glance at the time, and then it's 8 again, and then again. How am I losing time? My mind races, thinking and thinking. Sometimes I feel as though I'm being transported throughout history. Something doesn't add up. I have fully immersed myself in fear. Something doesn't add up. I was close then, I think, to identifying it. I feel guilty for being sick and ashamed for being sick, so I covered up. I'm not allowed to be sick. People wax on and on about white guilt, but no one really talks about black guilt. To know millions of people have sacrificed everything so I can be here now. They got bitten up by dogs, attacked by whites, hosed down, so I can be here now, losing track of time and pacing my apartment. Something doesn't add up. Beware of the cultural imperialists, I write in my journal in bold letters. I must have had a sense then, right? Beware of the cultural imperialists, for they walk amongst you, but only intend on you and your people's erasure. They live a life of historical drag. They make sure their voices are loudest. They intend for you to doubt your truth, your ancestral history, byproducts of global capitalism. Sometimes some things are best unsaid. The gestures can mean more. The sad smirk I shared with Muhammad as we did our usual dance of niceties via commercial transactions. This will help feed him and will surely help kill me. The usual barrier is still there, that of the consumer and supplier, man and woman, Middle Eastern and Black. We did not dissect the world affairs for 5 hours or cry hysterically out of fear. It was a knowing smirk, somewhere in the eyes a little cynical, a little defeated. It was in that moment that I realized that nothing has changed for us. He will continue to work in his family shop, and I will continue my role of consumer. American spirits, please. No, the light blue. Thank you. Have a nice day. As we continue our traditional roles, the smirk does seem dire, confused. A nod, a smirk, or maybe I'm just projecting. The doomsday clock ticks on persistently on the outside of the moment, looking, slipping. Everyone has a hyper reaction. How do you sound the alarm to trigger some sort of reflection if our attention can no longer sustain really much of anything? And the question still lingered in the air. Will you die for this? I long for a renewed moment of transcendence, when I can no longer look outside of myself, when I feel no doubt in my safety, when people no longer feel the need to co-opt my mental illness as a shorthand for their minuscule everyday trivialities. I won't hold my breath though, because capitalism is a mental illness. I should know. Thank you.